Coming up on the MonsterTalk Report, we recap the results from last weekend, as well as go over the latest news in the industry, including a new Monster Jam truck, lineup changes, and so much more. So get ready, because it's time for the MonsterTalk Report. Hello and welcome back to the MonsterTalk Report. I am your host, Jackson Morris, and this is the definitive place for all news and everything else you need to know in the monster truck industry. Once again, I'm joined by Ewan Ford, and we're just going to jump straight into this. We have a bit of news, a bit of results, and a bit of something new. So let's get straight into it. We're going to start off with the results from Rosemont, Illinois at the All-State Arena. There were a total of 5 shows, and these 5 shows were very interesting. For starters, we actually had a new intro format. All of the trucks drove out onto the track. They then did the national anthem where they standed on top of their trucks. They waited for the intro to play, and then they did laps around the arena pod. It was actually really cool. We think it's in light of Tristan England's comments on the Inside Monster Jam podcast, which, by the way, is a phenomenal show. You should 100% check it out. It was really interesting to see that, and however, we're going to get into the results right now. So at Show 1, we saw El Toro Loco win racing. Show 2's racing winner was Terminal Velocity. Show 3 was Earthshaker. Show 4 was El Toro Loco. And Show 5 was Terminal Velocity. In skills, Show 2 and Show 1 was won by El Toro Loco. Show 3 was Earthshaker. And Shows 4 and 5 was also Earthshaker. Now, they did not do the donut competition. However, in freestyle at Show 1, it was Earthshaker. In Show 2, it was Gravedigger. In Show 3, it was El Toro Loco. And in the other 2 shows, Shows 4 and 5, it was also El Toro Loco. Your overall event champion for Show 5 was Terminal Velocity with John Zimmer Jr. Show 4's overall event champion was Armando Castro in El Toro Loco. Shows 1 and 3's overall event winner was Tristan England and Earthshaker, and Show 5 was Kristen Anderson in Gravedigger. A phenomenal weekend for a lot of drivers, and Ewan, I'm actually going to hand it over to you. What are your thoughts on not just the intros, but the action that we got to see in Rosemont and Tristan England coming out on top at 2 shows?
I mean, I think this might be an indicator of what's to come in 2023, because I believe Armando, Tristan, and Kristen are on the same tour. So with Tristan basically dominating, and Armando as well, we'll see what the tour is going to be for next year.
Now, we've also got some independent show results, so we're just going to read through this. At the Monster Truck Throwdown show in Medina, Best Trick was won by Avenger, Racing was Toxic, and Freestyle was Avenger. Your overall event champion at that Throwdown show was Toxic. The All-Star Monster Truck Tour was in Birmingham, Alabama. Show 1's Best Trick winner was Twisted Addiction. Racing was won by Primetime, and Freestyle was won by Dozer. At Show 2, Best Trick was won by Dozer, and Racing and Freestyle was won by Twisted Addiction. The Indianapolis 4-Wheel Jamboree, we actually got to see monster trucks return to this. And Friday, Freestyle was won by Predator. Saturday, Best Trick was American Scout, along with Saturday Freestyle, also won by American Scout. And Sunday Freestyle was won by Predator. Now, some good shows here. Twisted Addiction actually came back with, I believe he brought back an older body. Was really interesting to see. And just some really good shows at these independent events, I guess you could say. Ewan, do you have any thoughts about these shows that happened?
Good to see the Monster Trucks return to the 4-wheel jamboree. It's always good action, the 4-wheel jamboree, and Throwdown as well. All these tours are always fantastic to watch.
Alright, we're going to move on to the news, and our first story is up first is about the overseas tour. Now, we've actually had some changes. So, Tyler Menninger will now be driving Gravedigger in Finland and Arnhem. Very interesting. I believe this is his first. I'll put it up on screen if I'm correct or not. But I believe this is the first time that he's been overseas for a Monster Jam show. So I'm really excited to see that. Monster Jam also heads to the Dominican Republic at the Felix Sanchez Stadium on November 26th. There's only 3 trucks and drivers that are listed currently, and we don't even know what they are driving. However, we'll get to that in just a second. The drivers listed is Charlie Porkin, Barry Musawa, and Brandon Vinson. The trucks listed are Dragon, Monsterma Rottweiler, and Zombie. Now, I think it's safe to assume that Porkin will be in Rottweiler as well. He is driving in San Juan, Puerto Rico, that truck. Zombie is kind of obvious. It's going to be driven by Barry Musawa. Dragon, I think, is going to be driven by Cody Saucier because Cody doesn't have a truck yet for Puerto Rico. And we've been wondering, you know, what is he going to drive? What truck is he going to be in? Is it a new truck? Is it an old truck? Is it some random truck? I think it's going to be Dragon. Obviously, I could be wrong. We have no idea, and I'm interested to hear your thoughts about Tyler Menninger getting to drive overseas and this new show in the Dominican Republic.
Tyler Menninger getting to drive overseas is certainly interesting. I wonder what happened to Randy Brown, but yeah, he's driving Finland and Arnhem. It's going to be probably a better show with Tyler Menninger behind the wheel now. And for the Dominican Republic, I assume it's going to be the same lineup as San Juan. Once the San Juan lineup drops, we're probably going to see the same in Dominican Republic as well. So yeah.
Alrighty, and our next one is actually pretty big. This only happened today as of recording this video. Feld has trademarked a brand new name that is possibly, I want to stress possibly, not at the moment, but we'll see, a new truck for the 2023 season. It is called Thunderous. Is this a new truck for next year? We don't know. We have no idea what it looks like, what it even is. We just know the name, and we've been talking a little bit, Ewan, behind the scenes about this name. I'm iffy on it. I would like to see the truck before I say, yep, this sucks, or yep, this rocks. But I know that your opinion of it is a bit more interesting. So, Ewan, the floor is yours. What do you think of Thunderous?
Thunderous or Thunderous, whatever it is supposed to be called. It's pretty oof name, but but we'll see what happens. Are they gonna do an electrical theme, a dinosaur theme? We don't know what they're gonna do with it. I'll wait till I see the body, but so far the name is yeah, it is what it is.
I couldn't agree more. It is very strange, but we will see. Now, a lot of people commented on this as soon as I released my last Monster Talk report. Bailey Shea is on Team Throttle. She is not a part of Feld, as I had previously assumed. I think you and me, Ewan, we kind of thought, oh, well, she's Team Feld. That's where we thought she was going, but no, she's part of Team Throttle. And this Dalmatian truck will be run on Zach Jensen's chassis. She actually made her driving debut in Van Bruin, Arkansas, driving Rockwell Red. I believe this was last weekend. Very interesting to see. So Dalton Widener actually has a partner, and that leaves one more Feld driver on Arena Series East. We know that the other person that will be on that tour will be Kurt Kramer in Ramunition and Hot Sea, but that leaves one more Feld driver. Could we see a marble truck? We don't know. Ewan, again, it's over to you. Your thoughts on update in lineups?
Yeah, once again, we're sorry for getting this wrong. You know, you guys flamed us in the comments. I read all of them. I am hurt. But, no, but Yeah, it's good to see Bailey Shea get another Monster Jam opportunity, especially with Team Throttle, as we assumed she was with MJ. But yeah, good for her.
Alrighty, and our next one still is about Feld and Monster Jam. Now, this was another thing that we noticed after episode that we put out last week. It is Rod Ryan in Houston. Rod Ryan is back, but the most interesting thing is who is driving it. It is Todd LeDuc. It will presumably be run on the Blue Thunder chassis, and it is the first time since 2016, or Houston 2016, which was not the FS1 version, not the one that was broadcast on TV. It was a non-televised event, and that time was driven by George Balahan on the Mohawk Warrior. Again, this is the first time since 2016 that we've seen it on a Feld chassis. I think this is really interesting. I don't know why they just wouldn't put it on some independent. But, I mean, could this be a sign that Blue Thunder's going away? I mean, Todd LeDuc, doesn't have a ride, and with Thunderous being announced, you know, if it's electrical themed, as you said, Ewan, do you think that LeDuc could be either piloting a Marvel truck or Thunderous for next season? I'm interested to hear your thoughts about that.
Blue Thunder was definitely just a kind of a fill-in name for sure. It was really weird because it was really last minute as well. And I guess I could see him running Thunderous but I don't know why they would just make it a Thunder themed truck if they already have Blue Thunder. It doesn't really make sense. So I guess I could see him running a Marvel truck or Thunderous, but it really depends on the this baffles me now.
That is true. It wouldn't really make sense to have Thunderous as a Thunder-themed truck. However, we move on to the Monster Truck 5 of the week. This is where we get to show off lineups, 5 of the lineups that are coming up in the Monster Truck industry, specifically next week. Gonna take a look at Monster Jam in Reno, Nevada. The lineup consists of Gravedigger with Tyler Manninger, El Toro Loco with Elvis Linez, Bernard Light in Megalodon, Soldier Fortune in Caleb Blood, Extreme Attitude with Travis Mowry, Dalton Widener in Jurassic Attack, Rockwell Red with Jeff Souza, and Velociraptor with David Alford. Now I'll get Ewan's thoughts at the end of reading all of these lineups, so we're going to keep going. Move on to Monster Truck Throwdown in Hartford, Michigan, Avenger with Corey Rummel, Brutus with Chris Kohler, Reptoid with Sydney Peterson. I believe that is a new driver, I'm presuming daughter of Mark Peterson. Correct me if I'm wrong at all.
Yeah, you're right, I believe.
Okay. Samson is driven by Rick Steffens, and Short Iron with Jason Yonkers. Next up is the return of the Outlaw Monster Truck Drags in Canfield, Ohio. American Scout will be driven by Colton Kisser. Stomper with Dalton Van Sky. Barefoot with Logan Tweedy. USA 1 with Rodney Tweedy. Carolina Crusher with Austin Tweedy. Monster Patrol with Casey Cromschroeder, Bad Habit with Joe Sylvester, and Toxic with Preston Perez. Very interesting to see the return of the Outlaw Monster Truck Drags. I thoroughly enjoyed last year's show, and I'm interested to see it again. The Throttle Out Productions will be in Thorold, Canada, and it will feature Anger Management with Eddie Como, Rat Nasty with Ryan Como, Loud and Dirty with Perry Como, Psychopath with Pat Paquette, Trainwreck with Matt Bernard, and Sabotage with Crystal Carey. And finally, the Monster Truck Insanity Tour will be in Elko, Nevada, and will feature Obsessed with Eric Swanson, Wildcard with Dawson Rias, Vendetta with Mike Christensen, Jurassic Attack with Paul Jensen, and Devastator with Aaron Basil. Now, we'll go by one of these shows one by one and talk about them, or try to. Monster Jam in Reno is always a great show, another solid lineup, and a few of these drivers are actually mainly Kayla. She gets to prepare 1 week in the States before she goes to the land down under for Monster Jam in Australia for the Australian tour. And the rest of these drivers, they get probably, I don't think, most of them don't really compete until, well, the independents are competing in the October Monster Jam shows, and some of the other drivers don't get to compete until, I believe, November, so they're actually starting to wrap up their season. Is there anything interesting that we could see in Reno this weekend?
I believe it's gonna be. Reno is always a good show. It's basically Tacoma Part 2. Reno's always just a good show. You know, it's basically a bigger arena, more big air. You can actually send it off obstacles, and not in a small arena.
That is true. Our next one is the Monster Truck Throwdown show. Again, really interesting to see Sydney Peterson in the Reptoid machine. I believe her first time driving, and that would be really interesting to see. Chris Kohler and Brutus. The rest of this lineup is just awesome. Corey Rummel and Avenger, Chris Kohler and Brutus, Samson, Short Iron. This lineup rocks, and I want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, of course. You know, Short Iron, best truck in NA right now. You know, but it's gonna be a good show. Team Scream always puts on a good show, as well as Reptoid and Samson. And Short Iron's gonna sweep it right now. My prediction is set.
Alrighty, after that amazing prediction, we move on to the Outlaw Monster Truck Drags. Again, they only do, I think in the past they've only done like 1 or 2 shows a year, and I actually really enjoy these shows, and I think this is their best lineup that they've had yet. They have, you know, they have the fastest monster truck driver in the world, Joe Sylvester and Bad Habit. Toxic, great truck with Preston Perez. Stomper, my goodness, actually, to go off on a little bit of a tangent, man, they had insane damage wherever they were last weekend. That truck, oh my goodness, they're gonna have to fix it for Canfield this weekend. And of course, Triple B Motorsports, they get to compete in this too, and what better way to throw them into a Outlaw Monster Truck Drags drag style race, you know, throwback to the Pender Points series, I guess. Do you have any thoughts about the Outlaw Monster Truck Drag show?
Yep, it's gonna be a great show. I believe they had the bus racing lanes last time.
True,
And
yeah.
Seeing Pouncer go over those was scary, to say the least, but and also Stomper was at the Indianapolis Jamboree, hitting on that hard concrete that they have there. It must have hurt, but I think it's gonna be a good show. I think this is the first 8-truck independent show in a while, like the first big show.
Well, probably, yeah, probably since the Mount Pleasant show, because I think that was either 8 or close to 8. Probably more than 8, actually. Really looking forward to that show. Next up, the Throttle Out Productions show. A lot of these, I don't know if they're Canadian exclusive, but they're definitely up in that area. You know, Trainwreck is an awesome truck. Sabotage, you know, all of these trucks are really great. And I don't have much to say. It's going to be a great show. Your thoughts, Ewan?
I just know Throttle Out is always put on a good show. They always have a bus ramp for some reason out in Canada. Also, I have to say, we forgot to mention this, but Rat Nasty, they believe had a new driver, I believe he's 17 years old, is a new Como. I forget his first name, but yeah, new driver for their team as well. But Ryan and Rat Nasty is gonna throw it down for all the Throttle Out fans.
A lot of new, younger drivers actually making their monster truck debut, as it seems to be, you know, with John Kohler a couple of weeks ago, and all that, so really great to see. Next up is the Monster Truck, or finally, is the Monster Truck Insanity Tour. You know, Devastator, Paul Jansen and Jurassic Attack, Vendetta, Wildcard, Obsessed. Again, a solid lineup, this Western kinda-ish lineup. Really good trucks, really good drivers. Again, I don't have anything else interesting to say. I just think it's gonna be solid.
Yeah, but it's Monster Truck City Tour always puts on a good show. You got Team Throttle Monster, you got the Obsessed team, you got Devastator. Pretty standard lineup for them, I believe. Pretty standard for them, and it's just gonna be a good show. Simply put.
Absolutely, and on that note, it is unfortunately time to end. We only have that for you today. Make sure you guys let us know what you thought of what we discussed today in the comments down below. And next week, we'll be back with some more Monster Truck content. Good night, everybody.